Hi, today we're going to be talking about a man named Scarface, or as I like to call him, Big Al. No, it's not Al Pacino. We're talking about America's real gangsta, Al Capone. But in all seriousness, today we're going to be talking about Al Capone and Prohibition in the 1920s. Before I tell you just a little bit about Capone, I'm going to give you some background info on the time. As I'm sure many of you know, the 1920s were an era of Prohibition. Prohibition refers to the 18th Amendment of the Constitution, which prohibited the manufacture, sale, and transportation of alcoholic beverages. Now, the Volstead Act quickly followed Prohibition, and it set out methods in which the police and authorities could enforce the amendment. Now, of course, for the racketeers at the time, alcohol was great for business because they knew that the demand for alcohol would be completely overwhelming as soon as the amendment would go into effect. Because, of course, like a popular song of the time said, you can't make your shimmy shake on tea. Now, Al Capone was one of the most notorious booze rackets of the time, and Chicago was his kingdom in the 20s. He was nicknamed Scarface for facial scars he received in his youth from a confrontation with a lady he was hitting on. Her brother was upset that he was hitting on her because he said something very inappropriate. Now, he often, in the public eye, he wanted to play the benevolent figure. He watched baseball games, went to boxing matches, and bought ice cream for little children. But he was actually, of course, as we know, a very dangerous man. And he was reportedly fond of saying, "You get a lot further with a smile and a gun than with just a smile." Still, Al Capone was the answer to Chicago's prayers as he filled the speakeasies with illegal liquor. He was invited to Chicago by racketeer Johnny Torrio in 1921. He ran errands for Torrio and his buddies, but he soon realized that crime offered him his first big real chance at making it big. And in 1925, after Johnny Torrio died from a gunshot wound, he was in complete control of Chicago's underground at the age of 26. Now, tossing all of Capone's other crimes aside, he is most notorious for the St. Valentine's Day Massacre of 1929. Now, it's never been proved that he was behind it, but everyone basically knows that he was. Now, the St. Valentine's Day Massacre of 1929 obviously happened on Valentine's Day, and it involved Capone's men disguised as policemen savagely attacking and gunning down 7 of Capone's rivals. Now, no witnesses could be persuaded to testify, and not one of the killers or his bosses was brought to trial. To this day, there is still debate on what actually happened and if Capone was really behind it. Now, in 1931, he was eventually tried for tax evasion because he didn't pay his taxes on the profits of his illegal activities. And he died at the age of 48 from syphilis, which was a result of his illegal activities. He died at his home in Florida in 1947.